Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger and my friends. In today's video, we're talking Project L, and we're specifically talking Darius. That's the big boy with the axe. So I played with all three of the characters that you've seen released so far, Ari, Darius, and Echo. I probably, of those three, played the most with Darius. And I figured for this video, well, let's just talk about Darius specifically and everything that he's about in Project L. So one thing that should be pretty apparent out of the gate is he's the big boy character of the three that have been shown. And it comes with what you would expect. He, for the most part, has the longest range normals, his specials that aren't just flat out projectiles like say Ari can use, all that kind of stuff, or Echo can use. His specials that are actual hits generally have longer range than the other characters, and he is the only character that has super armor. And he has a few sources of it. Also, he's very unique in his way to abuse the game mechanics in that he can take away options from you thanks to the apprehend mechanic. He also has the sole dominion over the wound mechanic, which is a pretty serious debuff. So that said, we'll go through his moveset and we'll start with that. Let's start with the wound mechanic. So wound doesn't sound very nice, does it, right? So this is a debuff he can apply to his enemies off specific moves. He can't do it off every move, but certain moves are keyed to do the wound mechanic. So here, Darius does Decimate. The second hit, if you hit a sweet spot, will apply the wound mechanic. And once it's applied, you can see the enemy is like kind of just bleeding for lack of a better effect. This effect is permanent until you get hit, so it can stay up for a long time. And what exactly does it do? Well, it makes everything do chip damage. Normally, only special moves do chip damage in this game. But with this, even normals, like your light, your medium, your heavy, they will all do chip damage when the debuff is applied. And as you can see in this clip, it's Echo doing this as well. So it doesn't have to be Darius. Darius only has to apply it, but your tag partner can easily take advantage of it. And some characters are exceptional at that. Some characters can leave you in block stun for a while. One unnamed character I found had particularly good synergy with Darius, as they can force you to block for a good while. And if you're forced to block and now you're taking even more additional damage thanks to the wound debuff, well, that's very strong now, isn't it? Now, one thing I noticed, they gave us like little pamphlets to explain some of the moves and all that. That wasn't listed was if the wound is applied, some of Darius's hits actually change up. Specifically, the Decimate follow-up, normally it just knocks you down. If it hits while the wound is applied, it forces like a sit-down stun that you can actually combo from. Don't got footage of it because we only have so much footage to go through, but it's there, trust me. So the wound state, on top of Darius's really good stuff, which we'll get into, is just an extra layer of why he's very much a threat. If you like big bully characters in versus games, Darius is a golden example. Now for his supers, down, special 2 is Compliance. This is this big nasty full screen business. This also applies the wound effect, by the way. Very good at catching characters who are currently tagged in or doing assists, as it'll smack them very easily. His other level 1 super is down, special 1. Super inputs are all very easy in this game. And this is Initiation, and this is an OTG super, so it can pick you up off the ground and then slam you the other way. He has a lot of ways to knock you to the ground, by the way. For combos, that's a super you're going to see most of the time. Now, for his big fancy level 2, this is the Noxian Guillotine. So, you've seen this before, this is the more final state. He just comes crashing down on you. Like, it's got those anime speed lines and everything, right? Very little flash, just brutal power, which I'm a big fan of. There's no subtlety here. Now, for specials, the big thing I want to talk to you about is Apprehend. So unfortunately, there's no video examples in the footage we're given, which sucks because I think it's one of the defining aspects of the character. Now, Apprehend, the combo version, is shown. But here's what Apprehend looks like just as the base level, by the way. This is when it's done as an assist, hits you with the axe, brings you in, right? That's great. The combo versions, you'll see in a lot of the combos, they slam you, they dunk you, because Darius is the dunk master, right? Or they help pull you up in the air to recombo, that kind of stuff. And those are very, very useful, right? But Apprehend, the grounded version, the regular version, is so wild because it just robs you of options. So basically, you hit special 1, he'll pull you in, as you saw earlier with the assist, right? And then a couple things happen. One, all the opponent's base defensive options are locked out. You cannot retreat in guard, you can't do anything like that. You have to accept what's coming next. Basically, you can't gimmick your way out of it. And what's coming next? Well, after Apprehend, it has 3 canned follow-ups, of which you just have to guess your way out of. The only way out of it is if you have like an invincible reversal, or like, spending 2 meters to have invincibility on level 2. Otherwise, hope you guess correctly. So he has light, medium, heavy follow-ups. The light follow-up is an overhead, so you have to stand block it. And once again, you're kind of trapped, so you can't mash buttons. All these options will beat whatever buttons you press, right? So you have to guess correctly. So there's an overhead. The medium is a regular strike, which applies the wound debuff. And as we talked about with the wound debuff, you definitely don't want that on you, right? And the other one is straight up a command grab. So at bare minimum, then, you consider this strike throw mix. If you get hit with Apprehend, you have to immediately guess on the spot, am I going to get hit or am I going to get thrown? And if he throws you, it hits you on the ground. And as we mentioned, he has an OTG super, so he can absolutely do a level 1 super and get even more damage off the command grab as well. Like, for all of us that were invited to Riot, I talked to a bunch of people, and they were saying this is like one of the scariest scenarios they were in, Maybe, obviously we're all new at the game, right? So maybe it's not as scary as it could be once we learn how to play properly. But to me, man, that seemed pretty good. You can just toss it out in a block string. Odds are, you can do it whenever you want, right? It's a special. So you can do it after you hit lights, after you hit mediums, after you hit heavies, whenever. And if they block it, it's time to start guessing. So to me, Apprehend was one of my favorite features of Darius. Now, Apprehend in a combo sense is very strong. So air Apprehend, you use it after you juggle the enemy. That's it right there. Pops the enemy back up, gives you enough time to land, and then re-juggle. And then when you're on the ground, downed Apprehend, that's the dunk, which then bounces them again, and you can follow up again. So it's very, very useful in combos as well. To the point, for the most part, I can't really envision you doing too many combos without using Apprehend, because it lets you re-juggle on the ground, it lets you re-juggle in the air. Like, it's just incredibly useful. I just wish there was footage of the base version I could show you guys, because I think it's really, really cool. Now, another thing that's really cool is Decimate. So this is special too. So Decimate, this makes it so it's very difficult to compete against Darius on the ground. Like, you got to go in the air, because he basically just outranges you on everything. Like, look at this. Look how far away he hits that go. And it has multiple follow-ups, by the way. So big spin is one, good for pressure. And also just hitting the button again gives you this follow-up right here, which if you hit with the sweet spot, applies the wound effect. It's also completely safe on block. So basically, why wouldn't you always just want to go for this over and over and over? Well, there is one reason. There is very purposefully a very small gap between the two attacks. So that means you can parry through it, or do supers if you have an invincible super or an invincible move otherwise. Basically, it's a very strong and brain dead move, but it's given this small weakness that if you're just a little too stupid with it, the enemy can make the read and punish you. Now, on the flip, it is the nature of the big body character to mentally punish those who think they're smarter than they actually are, right? So you can just not follow up and they can go for a parry, and in this game, parry costs a full bar. It's refunded if you hit it, yes, but if you whiff it, you lose the whole bar, and meter builds pretty slowly in this game. So if they go for the parry and whiff and there's nothing there, that's actually a massive loss on their end. And unfortunately, I didn't get to test it while I was there, but I'm pretty sure, given the range, Darius can just do Super 2 and punish the whiff of the parry itself. Well, wait and see if that actually works out, I don't know, but still, bare minimum, you can make people look pretty silly. Darius has other special moves like Retaliate, this guy right here, and it basically resets your grounded combo, and you can just go for basic buttons again before you have to launch them into the air. Only works grounded once per combo. If you do it twice, it'll splat the enemy and ruin your combo, but still, if you just get a basic hit, it's a really strong combo extension, and also this move has a follow-up as well. Lots of his specials have follow-ups. Now, Grievous Wheel, this is down special 2. This is the moneymaker, because in the build we played, Darius is the only character with a move like this. This is a move with frame 1 armor. This is an actual reversal. Basically, for everybody else, you have to either do something universal, like, your level 2 super for admissibility, or use the actual universal mechanics to defend yourself. No, he has effectively the closest thing to a Shoryuken in the game. And yeah, as you can see, he can super after the fact too. So very, very good, very, very strong. A few things to note. As a reversal, it's definitely not safe on block, so if they call you out, you're gonna get blown up. And while it is armored, you can see the big armor flash right there, it's only one hit of armor. So if there's just non-stop like lights and assists and all that kind of coming at your way, you will still lose in the end. It's incredibly powerful, but you gotta pick and choose your fights. It's not his only source of armor though. He has a unique running attack. Everyone actually has unique running attacks. And his run attack, this big shoulder, is also armored. And this is his other assist, by the way, besides apprehend. So he's not exactly dripping in armor. That might be other characters down the road. But of the currently available characters, he's definitely the most armored character, as in he's the only armored character. One other thing to note, the range of his normals is exceptional. But the thing is, the range of his launcher is not. So one thing I learned the hard way while playing him is sometimes you just got to go for specials. You're not always going to be able to get the launcher, so sometimes just go for decimate, apply the wound, and be happy with what you got. You're not always going to get the biggest launcher, considering he can just combo you from much further away than the other characters. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. It's just one of those things where you go like A, B, C, get your hits, the hit confirm, your brain always like, oh, better go for the launcher after the fact, right? And for him specifically, it's not always going to work out that case. So if you get the hit from very far away, just be happy that you got the hit at all, and then convert into something else besides your max damage B&B combo. And that's about what I have for you for Darius right now. Of the three characters, he's easily my favorite between these three. I do have to say, as a fan of big characters in fighting games, he's very satisfying to play. The hits feel very good. The weight feels very good. Everything about him, like animation-wise, just feels nice and powerful. I'm a big fan of everything here. In versus games, not every character has to be like the sick, mix-up air dash monster, right? We already have Ari and Echo. Like, they fulfill those rules. So if you're just a simple person, a humble person looking for a humble character that just wants to hit buttons and do all right, Darius is definitely that guy. Substance over style, let's put it that way. And my friends, that is the video. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to get at least one more of these out for you. And until then, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some fighting games.